I recently bought this 1992 extended cab Toyota pickup with the 22RE engine, a 5-speed manual transmission, and 4-wheel drive. And most importantly, air conditioning. This thing is a sweet truck and I got it for a steal of a deal. It had been sitting nearly a decade untouched. I got it running and driving, but now I need to get this thing completely roadworthy. And I want to update the entire interior to be a comfortable place to be so that we can take this thing on a 450-mile road trip to get a rooftop tent to outfit this thing for the ultimate weekend warrior. I'm excited, so let's get it into the garage. The first thing I need to address is this, a failed emissions test. And this, the brand new knock sensor I put in this thing at the end of the last video trying to solve the knock sensor issue. Well, it turns out parts store knock sensors are garbage. I ended up pulling a knock sensor off a 300,000 mile engine, throwing it on here, and now we seem to have no more knock sensor issues. I actually almost replaced the ECU because I went through 2 bad brand new knock sensors and 2 bad used knock sensors before finding one that was known good and putting it in here. It is a whole conundrum. Don't always trust your parts store parts, but I need to get this thing ready to pass emissions. And there's a little bit more than just the knock sensor, unfortunately. It's got a pretty nasty exhaust leak. We need to get that sorted out. The tailpipe's practically falling out. We need to get that sorted out. And if we get all of that done, hopefully we can get this thing emissions tested and then registered. And once it's ready to hit the street, we can actually upgrade it. But we got to start with the bare bones first. And I know a lot of you guys always ask, are these vehicles inspected and registered? Yes, they are. So now that we've got the knock sensor issue figured out with a used OE knock sensor instead of a brand new parts store knock sensor, hopefully the exhaust particulates will be good and we should pass our emissions test. That's what I'm hoping anyway. But before we can do that, we need to have the exhaust actually all the way out the back of the truck. And unfortunately, the only rusty thing on this entire truck is this aftermarket exhaust. It rusted out right there at the back of the muffler, and we're gonna need to replace that to get it all the way out the back. Also an excellent time to highlight how rust-free this thing is. The chassis looks great, under the bed looks great, everything, even the chain for the spare tire, completely rust-free. Now this is far from my best work, but considering it took about 30 minutes to do everything, and now we've got hangers back, everything's reconnected, the tailpipe goes all the way out the back, pretty happy with it. Now, I don't love the sound of 4 cylinders, but sounds a lot better than it did before with a bunch of exhaust leaks. So let's get this thing cleaned up, go get emissions tested, and maybe we'll be able to put a plate on this thing. That'd be real cool. Well, we're back in the garage because we failed our emissions test. So we still got to get this thing a little more sorted. The gas cap still failed even with the new seal, and our particulates at high speed, which is 2,500 RPM. Unfortunately, I think we're gonna need to replace the catalytic converter, but I've got a pile of exhaust parts, so I'm gonna dig through it, see if I can find the one that looks good and looks like it'll fit in here. The one that's under here is an aftermarket high flow, and unfortunately I think it's just not quite doing the job. After trying both of these cats, this one not fitting because of the angles of the tubing, and this one is half bashed out. It's really hard to see in there, but a lot of the cat's already been like mashed out of it. I did finally find this. It's a good to go cat that looks complete, should be decent. It's got flanges on both sides, which is cool, and I think we're gonna be able to weld it in. Got the new cat mocked up in there. It's slid over the back. The front's barely slid over. It's perfectly in place. So I'm gonna go ahead, get the arc captain out. We're gonna weld this thing up and we should be good to go. Welding that back in sucked this morning. Hopefully we can get this in and we finally get this thing to actually pass emissions. That is a catalytic converter for a 3.4 liter V6. And we got it up in here. I think we're good to go. It's even on the hangers a little bit. We're gonna go get this emissions tested again. 3rd time's the charm, right? That's what they say? Hopefully. Ha 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 ha. This is a passed emissions test. All of our numbers went down dramatically. This cat's probably a lot better for the environment, so we're just obviously gonna leave it on there. And now this thing is ready to get registered. That feels good. We can put some tags on it. But today I can start getting this thing ready for all of the upgrades we've got. First thing first, I wanna go get the dash pulled out of the parts truck. This dash is in horrible shape. It's cracked. It's sticky and covered and stuff. It's really gross, and I'd like to get it completely pulled out so we can replace it with a dash that looks a lot better. I also think I might order carpet for this thing. The front seats isn't too bad. It's not in terrible shape at all, and it's something I could live with, but behind the driver's seat, it looks like there was some oil spilled or something, and the carpet has got this tint to it, and it's pretty dang ugly. It's something I could probably live with. It wouldn't be the end of the world. But tonight I'm gonna go ahead and see what it would cost to get an entire new carpet kit for this truck. And if it's not too crazy, I might just do it. This truck is genuinely clean enough. I think it would be worth it. All right, and here is our donor dash. Now I get to spend the time to get this thing completely stripped down because I need, well, the dash, which is pretty much the last thing to come out. So we're gonna get to pulling this thing all the way apart. All right, we've got the dash out. It looks great. There's no cracking or anything crazy on it, which is really nice. It does need cleaned up, but I knew that was gonna happen. I've also got a few other trim pieces like that center trim piece and the whole dash bezel. That's gonna make the entire dash look good and complete. Really happy about that. And while I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead, and the door kick trims are falling off of the extended cab. So I'm gonna grab these. And with that, that's about everything I think we're gonna need out of this truck, but it's not going anywhere. So if we need any other small sniddly bits, they will be in here. Got the truck back in the garage, and this is New Mexico Certificate of Vehicle Registration for this thing. We got tags, this thing is road legal, and that means it's time to install this massive pile of parts to make the interior a wonderful place to be. The interior of this thing is pretty rough. The dash is completely cracked up and falling apart. The radio is broken and the volume doesn't move at all, really. The cup holders are also broken, and overall it's just dirty. I'm really excited to clean this thing up, get a bunch of new parts in it, and we're gonna have the entire dash apart replacing it. So we're gonna be able to clean all of the HVAC vents for the heater and the AC, which should help with this thing just being a nice and comfortable place to be, summer or winter. I love cleaning a vehicle and just making it feel good on the inside. Got the interior pretty well stripped down, and it's just about time to start cleaning all of this up so we can move on to our massive pile of parts and get things put back together. I did discover a few things that are pretty interesting. This thing had an alarm system at one point. It was unplugged, and when I went to go plug it in, it started yelling at me. So I think that it's been inactive for some time now, but yeah, that's pretty interesting. I'm gonna delete all of that, get this box out of here, get all of this extra wiring out of here, and any ties to factory wiring that has, I'm gonna cut. Got most of the ducting that's in here all cleaned out, getting everything else wiped down, getting this absolute atrocity of wiring yanked out of here. And one of these things I've noticed is every single one of these quote unquote fuse taps is just a bare wire stuffed in behind a fuse. All of them. There's like 4 or 5. This was just a fire waiting to happen. I'm glad we're getting it all removed because that's just unacceptable. What the heck is going on here even? But we're gonna get all of this removed. And the other thing I noticed is over on the passenger side, there's a ton of wires that were going back to this compartment. Seems like not the previous owner, but the one before that had a really nice sound system in here. Bunch of coaxials going to the back for, I assume, amps, both for a subwoofer and for speakers. We've got big old power wires going back there. And unfortunately, it all got sliced off right there going into the back seat. So it all got cut. It's all pretty much useless. So I'm gonna rip all of that out as well, just getting stuff out of the cab. But it is interesting to note that there was probably a really nice sound system in this thing at one point. Another thing I found, these speaker wires are literally electrical taped and wire nutted together. I think this is because originally these speaker wires went all the way to the back and under the seat where the amp was. And then the previous owner, when they put in the head units in it now and redid the stereo, cut it and spliced it shorter so it could just go straight to the head unit. I'm going to assume that's what happened anyway and hope that no one did this on the first try and thought that was the most appropriate solution. I'm just really hoping that's not what happened. I feel like I finally have things cleaned enough and the wiring cleaned up enough to consider putting this thing back together, and that feels good. I've got all of the wiring for the alarm pulled. I had to pull out the ECU because there was wiring going under it. I got all the wiring from the old stereo pulled. I've got all the wiring from the alarm system that was over here pulled. And now I think I'm ready to set the new dashboard on. Just as a reminder, this is what we're coming from. This cracked up dash. It's got a bunch of Velcro on it. The padding is absolutely destroyed. This crappy old head unit that would not turn the volume up or down, and there's not even a storage cubby underneath, just a little blank out plate. And we're replacing it with all of this. Here I had to mount the stereo into the dash bezel. The reason for that is because of the screen. I could not put the dash bezel over the radio. Screen had to stick out past. So we've got everything here, got a cubby underneath, and everything looks really good. I'm excited about that stereo. It's even got the reverse cam wiring and everything. I'm going to be installing the reverse cam. I just want to make this thing semi-decent. And we're going to this dash. Now it's far from perfect. I cleaned it up and this is actually staining. I can't seem to get it off. But it isn't cracked. It's all one piece and I think it's going to look a ton better. Since I've got the dash apart, I figured I'd buy brand new dash speakers to throw in here because, you know, why not? It's apart. But this thing already had quality dash speakers in it. So since these are nice speakers and there's absolutely nothing wrong with them, I'm going to go ahead, install them back into the dash speakers, get this stuff the last bit cleaned up, and we're on the home stretch to get this entire interior fully wrapped up. I'm so excited. My carpet kit still has not come in the mail, so we're jumping on to piddly little things that I just want to replace. This reservoir for the windshield washers was just destroyed. Absolutely horrible. Went out to the parts truck. This one looks like it's in good shape, so we're going to throw it in. And it really is the little things that just make a truck seem a whole lot nicer. All right, we got this thing together, and I ended up putting the seats back in it, got the carpet all vacuumed up, and I'm not going to get the carpet kit for another 3 days. And tomorrow I plan on taking this thing on a 400 to 500 mile road trip in order to deliver a couple parts and pick a couple things up. And well, these tires on it, they don't match front and rear and they're not really great. So I want to do something about that. I don't really have a new set of tires for this thing. I don't really want to buy brand new tires for these wheels because I don't know how they feel on the truck. So what I'm going to do is play the tire go round. And by that, I mean, I'm taking wheels off of one of my other vehicles to stuff on here, putting these wheels back on that vehicle. So I'm going to get to work getting some nicer tires on this thing. Oh, I think that looks honestly so much better. Oh, this thing is looking good on these wheels and tires. I honestly think I like them well enough. I might keep them on the pickup. But we're ready to go on our first trip. We're gonna go pick up the cheapest rooftop tent I could possibly find. We're spending about $500 on a hard shell rooftop tent. I went ahead and in the bed, we've got the bed rack that was for the soft shell on the Hilux. It should work on these bed sides. We should be able to get the tent mounted on here. We're gonna go pick it up about 250 miles away, mount it, and then camp in it. We've got our camping gear, the dogs, some water, and we're about to hit the road. Hopefully this thing does good, because so far we put about 100 miles on it total, and we're about to put about 500 miles on it over the next 24 hours-ish. Load up. How's that, Doc? Oh no. The car. It's broken. We're about an hour and 20 minutes and about 70 miles into our journey, and this little 22RE is feeling the extra weight. We don't even have a ton of weight in here, but now there's 2 people, 2 dogs, and a little bit of stuff, and you can tell. I also put a spare tire under it because, you know, spare tire. And I'd say we added probably 600 to 700 pounds versus what it was, and it's so slow. We are currently 55 uphill, 3rd gear, pinned. This is all it's got, and it is slowing down. And on top of that, our check engine light is back. I don't know what check engine light is, but it's back, and that's pretty sad. Not quite. I've also discovered that this window is off of the track just enough to leave just enough of a gap to squeal at an insanely high pitch and make me kind of sad. I don't know if the check engine light added any power loss, or if it's just this slow and the check engine light came for like an O2 sensor or something. I'll know when we get to Farmington. I'll pull over, I'll throw something in the check engine light, we'll check it out, but for now, it's doing great. Hey, it's a Toyota, and if you ignore your problems long enough, they go away. We no longer have a check engine light. It just disappeared. No idea what happened, but it's gone. Yeah. Poof, gone. This is our $500 rooftop tent. I think it was an extremely good deal for a hard shell rooftop tent. It's just a very simple clamshell design. We're gonna get it mounted onto the bed rack that I brought up. We brought tools like riv nuts and a drill. We are in the middle of mounting the rooftop tent. I'm just gonna go ahead and use some riv nuts to riv nut into the bedside. And then this has some little clamps that'll go around the bed rack, hold it in place, and that should be good to go. Most of the weight transfer on this is going to be straight down. I'm not worried about it pulling up, and I'm not really worried about left to right. I think this is going to be plenty strong enough, but we're in a rush. We're fighting against the sun that is currently going down to get this thing on there, and I'm really excited because we also have to find a camping spot after this. So let's get this thing mounted. All right, so I didn't bring a tape measure, and there's no one at the shop right now, but we've got these. So I'm lining these up and lining them up with the inside of this bed rail where it connects to the outside bed rail. And each side is exactly 2 away from the back. And then this is exactly the distance between the outside of this and the inside of that. So I think this is perfectly lined up via very rudimentary riv nut container measurements, but I think it's gonna work. I think it looks good too.
Oh, light tent.
Okay.
Good stuff. Wow. Things happen quick.
Honestly,
But
it's not terrible.
well,
We got it on. Looks pretty good. It's dark. We're gonna go camp. That's pretty much it. Okay. You ready for this? Unload, dogs. Oh yeah. Tucker, get over here. Good boy. This is cool. The rooftop tent looks good. Oh, Jock, get it, girl. Get it, dog. Get the stick, dog. Good girl. Activate. Oh, good boy. Get it, bud. Go get it, Tucker. Tucker, go get your stick. Where'd it go? Good girl. I don't know how these poles are supposed to go. I just know how I put them. This is cool. I'm standing, not on a ladder. Honestly, super pumped with this rooftop tent, but now we're gonna hit the road. Hit the road? Oh, Tucky. I guess we'll check their food when we get to Trauma. Tucker is down on it. We're back from 450 miles on the road in our pretty much untested truck. And we're gonna talk about the good things, the bad things, the things I'd still like to upgrade, and the things that did just absolutely flawless. From the front to the back, suspension alignment felt great. I'm really happy with these tires. I really liked them on the 4th Gen 4Runner, but this wheel and tire combo I think fits this truck so much better than the wheels that were on it before. 16s versus 17 looks a ton better. I know a few of you guys talked about how you liked the 17s that were on it before. I just think this fits the vibe of this truck so much better. The rooftop tent, amazing. I am stoked on this rooftop tent. It takes like 15 seconds to deploy. I am really happy with a hard shell. I've never had the clamshell design. Night one was a success. I'm really excited to spend some more time in this tent and see how we like it. This is our 3rd rooftop tent, and it's gonna be really interesting to see how it compares to our other hard shell and our soft shell. Bed rack, I would really like to remake that bed rack. Not ideal, didn't perform super well. It's got a bit of movement, and it's a little flimsy. It actually pushes the bed sides out when we're laying in it. So I just wanna redesign that a little stronger and a little bit taller so the dogs have a bit more room. On the interior, overall, it did amazing. The stereo sounded good, the speaker sounded good. Having the extra cab felt so much nicer. We could stick the dogs back there, we could stick our gear back there and not have to worry about any of it being in the weather. The dogs were warm. The carpet came in. We got our carpet kit and I was really excited, and I rolled it out and I started looking at it, and the seat looks like it's gonna bolt from here to about here. And then I started looking at the rest of it and it looked a little small. So I took a tape measure out. It's about 2 feet too short. So this carpet kit isn't gonna work. So I'm just gonna call the interior done for now. And I realized that although the carpet's not perfect, it's one of those things that isn't a huge deal, because with the dogs jumping in and out and camping in the mud, I'm not near as worried about ruining a perfect interior. Overall, everything else worked flawlessly. There is one major issue. It's actually not a major issue, it's kind of a minor issue. This window is not fully on the track, and when you roll it all the way up, it whistles so loud and so annoying from 45 miles an hour on. And so you have to roll with this window down like ½ an inch, where it's still making noise, but it's not whistling a high-pitched, horrid sounding whistle. So I'm gonna need to pull this door apart and figure out how to get this door to seal proper. But other than that, we didn't have any issues with the interior. I'm really stoked with this truck. I have a lot of plans for it. So let me know what you think I should do with this thing down below. It's a little lacking on power. It's rather slow. 22RE is a great engine. We got 22.5 miles to the gallon. Awesome. But I'd love something that could go 65 uphill with all our gear. Thoughts? Let me know down below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Have a good one.